What if I told you that your real glow, the kind that makes people stop and notice, has nothing to do with makeup or highlighters? We're gonna get into what that glow actually is. I'll give you 3 real examples of how it shows up in your life, and most importantly, the inner shifts you can make at home so you can begin your own glow up today. So let's begin with what this glow actually feels like. As a love alchemist and relationship reinvention coach, there's a moment that I've seen happen again and again after working with thousands of women. It's not instant. It doesn't come after just one breakthrough or even a 3-day juice cleanse. But one day it lands. And when it does, you feel it. You stop trying to force your life from this place of controlling, proving, performing, and you start living from the inside out. You begin to see every challenge as a portal for personal growth. You start meeting your own needs, you forgive, you relax, you breathe easier. And when you do that, well, something inside shifts. Something releases, something lets go. It feels like you're finally opening up to receiving the good things in life. You feel you deserve it, and you don't have to keep doing more to earn it. And then you glow, not because of makeup, but because you're in alignment and people notice. They say, wow, you're glowing. They look at you like they're seeing the real you for the first time. Now, what I call self-love afterglow isn't just spiritual fluff. There's actual research behind why it's so life-changing. One study looked at data from over 35,000 people and found something big. When you have both self-esteem and self-compassion, your overall well-being and mental health go way up, like significantly. Basically, when you treat yourself with the kindness and compassion and you believe you're worthy, you're not just happier, you're more resilient, more grounded, and honestly, a lot harder to knock down. So this glow you get to feel inside, it's not mood magic. It's the scientific result of building that self-worth from the inside out. Now that you know what the glow feels like, let's start to go into some real-life examples so you can identify them for yourself. The first example is when forgiveness enters the picture. Now, one of my students, her name is Jenna, said it best. Forgiveness is the gift we give ourselves. She came into my Soulmate Magnet program. This is a program where I help high-achieving women release their toxic relationship baggage. I call these your love blocks, and they're getting in the way of finding and attracting the love you want. And Jenna was like many women I've worked with, carrying years of pain, blame, and heartbreak. Now, I took her through an intense and powerful forgiveness exercise, not just to let others off the hook, but to free herself from carrying all that pain. That's when her energy completely shifted. She said it felt like her body was finally breathing again. Her shoulders relaxed, her chest opened, and the pressure, it lifted. So if you're holding on to past relationship baggage, ask yourself, well, what would I gain if I release this? That's the moment you'll stop fighting the past and start freeing yourself from it. Because forgiveness, it isn't about them. It's about your freedom. Now that you've seen how releasing pain creates peace, let's jump to our second example about what happens when you pour love into yourself instead of chasing it from other people. By the way, if this is your jam, feel free to subscribe. I cover self-love, relationships, and soulmates. Now, another client of mine, Lori, she described it like this. I feel like I'm in my most loved era, Sanaya. She stopped waiting for permission to prioritize herself, and that made all the difference. In our work together, I helped her heal the childhood wounds that she was carrying, which showed up in her life as guilt, overgiving, and never feeling enough. Sound familiar? Now, we worked together to release the painful childhood experiences from her past and to heal the emotional wounds that she'd been carrying for years. I used a powerful healing modality called theta healing, which is known for creating instant and lasting emotional release. After our work together, Lori finally began to tune into her body. She gave herself the permission to rest when she needed to and started prioritizing her emotional well-being over everyone else's demands. Through the coaching work we did together, I helped her rebuild her self-love and taught her simple and effective healing practices that allowed her to put herself first without all the guilt. And what happened next? Well, she started hearing it from others. You look different. You're glowing. Family showed more kindness to her. Strangers smiled more. And most importantly, she smiled at herself. So here's the universal equation. Self-love in, good energy out. She glowed and it showed. That's the thing about self-love. It magnetizes. When you stop seeking love from others and start giving it to yourself, well, then you stop coming from that place of lack. And when you make yourself important, people begin to reflect that back to you. They start treating you like you matter, because you do. So I want you to try this today. Notice one thing, one need you've been ignoring, and meet it, even if it's rest, water, or a boundary. Watch how things shift. Now let's go to our third real example. Now this is a story about Celeste. Her journey through inner child work wasn't easy. It unearthed layers of pain that she had buried for a very, very long time. Along with those emotions came the physical symptoms, headaches, tears, hot flashes, because the reality is, so much of the discomfort we carry in our bodies is actually unreleased emotional pain. Together, we worked to gently release those trapped emotions, and I taught her simple self-regulation techniques to support her healing journey. And when she emerged on the other side of that process, she wasn't the same. A new version of her had come to life, like a butterfly finally free from its cocoon. People around her became more considerate to her. Colleagues, family, strangers. Her relationships became more respectful. Even random people started treating her differently. Why? Because when your energy shifts, your life does too. That's the afterglow. When you are more loving to yourself, it gets reflected right back to you. So now you've seen how forgiveness lightens you, how self-prioritization empowers you, and how healing shifts your energy and your relationships. Now let's talk about how you can start creating your own self-love afterglow. After coaching over 5,000 women through this process, here's what I can tell you with confidence. The self-love afterglow isn't some magical fairy dust feeling, though it kind of feels like that. It's the natural result of healing. When you choose yourself again and again, your nervous system calms down. You breathe deeper. You stop waiting for someone else to make you feel good about yourself because you already do. And suddenly, life feels less like a struggle and more like alignment. Every step forward feels lighter, and you attract things that feel good, not chaotic or stressful. You choose from desire, not fear. And when you do that, things change. You stop gripping. You let go of the small stuff, and you finally open up to receive. Not because you earned it, but because you deserve it. That's when it shows up, that glow. Not from skincare or filters, but from a nervous system that finally feels safe. A heart that feels seen, and a soul that feels loved. Here's where it gets exciting. That self-love glow doesn't just feel good, it does wonders for your life. This is when soulmates suddenly appear into your life, or dream opportunities knock on your door, or creative flow returns, or you finally feel seen, not for who you've been trying to be, but for who you actually are. Because when your self-worth is solid, you stop chasing and you start attracting. Now, healing can look different for everyone. Maybe it's forgiving that person you thought you never could. Maybe it's letting yourself receive without the guilt. And maybe it's dropping the need to control everything and finally trusting life. And the outcome? Well, you become magnetic, attracting whatever you want just by being you. So take a moment with me right now. Close your eyes, unless of course you're driving. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow feeling light, calm. You look at yourself in the mirror, not to pick yourself apart, but just to be present with who you are. You walk into a room and you feel grounded, magnetic, at ease. You're not trying to prove anything because you know deep in your heart, you are enough. And you feel it. That is the glow. That's what we're building here. So ask yourself, how much do you want to feel that free, that alive, that magnetic? And are you willing to take that first step into your own self-love afterglow? Start by finding your self-love score. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below to fill out the free self-love scorecard. And you'll uncover what's standing in the way between you and your inner glow. The self-love afterglow isn't a destination. It's a way of being. It's a gift, a reward for choosing yourself, for making your healing, yourself, a priority. And once you've felt that glow, you won't want to go back. Now, if this struck a chord and you're ready to keep going, watch this next. What no one taught you about loving yourself. Because everybody needs to know that. On that note, thank you for joining me. You are loved.